Hello, Facebook Live. Welcome to beautiful Toronto. I'm trying to figure out what all these people are doing in their offices on a Friday night. Makes for some exciting people watching in this room. And I think they might be watching me. I'm not sure. But we're having fun. So, welcome everyone. Welcome. As y'all join in live, I'd love to know 2 or 3 things you are grateful for this Friday evening. Welcome. Love to know 2 or 3 things you're grateful for. Also, love to know where you're tuning in from. We are up in Toronto, Canada. These are all of our awesome neighbors across there, and their offices still at night. Tonight, we're going to be talking about real quick and simple, just a thought that crossed my mind, and it's how do you react personally when you see people struggling? So if you saw someone walking down the street and let's say they were struggling to carry a bag of groceries, or you saw someone trying to lift something over a wall or lift something up and they were struggling to get it into their vehicle or struggling to get it into their home. If you have a child and you see your child struggling to get something done, like tie their shoe, I'd love to know, how do you personally approach it? Now, I've seen some people who kind of step back and just watch and see what happens. I've seen some people who try to step in and immediately solve the problem without giving the person even a chance to figure it out on their own. And all these things have their consequences, but all these things also have their rewards. Hey, New Zealand. All right. David, nice to see you. Hugh, nice to see you. I hope that's how you say it. Um, so what's interesting is what do you do when you see someone struggling? I'd love to know in your response personally. Now let's go through all the options. Number one is kind of a not that great of an option, but there's some people who kind of enjoy watching others struggle for some reason. They see someone struggling and it puts a smile on their face, so they're kind of like, oh, look at them. Ain't as easy as you thought, huh, bud? And there's those people. Fair game. There's some people who just like that route. And then there's the next person. There's the next person who they have empathy and they see someone struggle. They immediately feel like they want to help them, but in their mind they don't feel like they have the time, the resources, maybe the intelligence, maybe the strength, or maybe whatever it takes to help them. So they kind of go, "Oh, I'd love to help, and I feel for them, but I don't have what it takes." So they just keep moving on, and that's one group. But then there's the group who take action, and there's some pluses and minuses. The people who just laugh at them or avoid them, the people who just walk away and don't do anything, there's not really that much that goes on there. Um, Julio, I'm guilty of helping people without asking. That's one way to do it too. You see something going on, and you made a good point here, which is if you want to go physically help someone, the first thing to ask is probably, do you need help? You might see someone struggling, and they might be trying to gain some muscle. They might be trying to get stronger as a human being, and by you showing up and helping them, you're actually taking away their ability to gain strength, to become stronger, to become more intelligent, to become more capable. So some people have such a big heart, you see someone struggling and you want to go do it for them, but you don't realize you doing it for them robs them of the experience to figure it out on their own. And that's not that great. And when you think of it that way, you go, oh shoot, I had all the heart in the world. I only wanted to help them. I didn't want to, take away their ability to learn or grow or experience more. Dang, what a bummer. So one piece you mentioned is if you see someone struggling, you might want to gear it up in your nervous system. For the very first thing to do is ask them, do you need help? Do you even want help? Now, for most people, they may go, sure, or no, not at all. And the ones who do ask for help, the second question you might want to ask is, how specifically can I help you? Because just because they say they need help, if you run in and do the whole project, they might have said, I didn't want that much. I just wanted a little hand or a little effort. And so first is, do they need help? Second, what specifically do they need help with? Then assess if you have the ability to really assist them or help them or be part of them getting the result they're really after. The next kind of group of people is, Julio, you mentioned, it's people who just help. You show up and I love you because you're the first person to pick up a shovel and start digging. The only challenge is sometimes you show up and start digging and they didn't even ask. And now they're kind of staring over their shoulder like, who's this character that's just doing stuff, and they didn't even ask me if I wanted help. I didn't want help. I was doing great. I actually enjoy the process. I enjoy the little bit of struggle because it makes me stronger. And now this person is trying to dig for me. That's really sweet of them, but I wish they wouldn't. Now sometimes it'll cause the people around you to become lazy in their own life because they'll realize, hey, I've got this friend or I've got this neighbor, I've got this person up the road that'll do it for me. So I don't have to step up to the plate. I don't really have to make the decisions that are hard. I don't have to show up and put in all the effort because I have these other people around me that'll do it for me. I'll just tell them what's going on and let them kind of step up to the plate for me. They get stronger, they get smarter, they get more rewards in life. I just get to reap the benefits from having a cool friend who works really hard for me. So it's an interesting thought to consider there. Let's see. Joy says, my initial reaction is to root them first for being vulnerable enough to show their struggle. That's wonderful. So to really appreciate and acknowledge the fact that they are struggling and that they are showing vulnerability in that moment, and then to really, really root for them. I guess my thoughts on this topic would be, one, ask if they really do need the assistance. Two, ask what specifically they need assistance with. And even if they do need assistance and they're asking, it's worth from time to time stepping back and allowing them to just have a little bit more time to invest in trying to accomplish it themselves. Because sometimes they're working, don't see the result. Working, don't see the result. Working, don't see the result. But then they do it 2 or 3 more times and boom, they got the result. And now they get to have the pride and ownership of, wow, I figured it out. Versus other times, they're going and going and going. So I guess the next question you throw on there is, do you need help? How specifically? But then the next one might be, what have you done already? Lauren, nice to see you. Joy, nice to see you. David, nice to see you. But the next question is, what have you done already? Because, I hate to say it, but our friend Gary Vaynerchuk, who we're big fans of, he says all the time, he's like, I'll get emails of these people saying, hey, I've been trying to build my YouTube channel. I've been trying to build my business, and it's just not working. What do you think? Like I'm putting in the work, but I'm not seeing the results. And he asks them, how long have you been trying? And they say, 4 months. And he's like, and his response is, really? You're telling me that you want to invest your whole life into building this kind of business, into building this kind of brand. You tried 4 months and you're giving up and getting frustrated? Please. And he tells his story where he spent years doing 5-day-a-week video shows on YouTube, having maybe 10 views, 20 views, 50 views, max. And he spent years doing that, and all of a sudden, then it blew up. And so one thing you got to notice is when people are struggling, sometimes you got to step in and ask them, do they need help? How can you help specifically? But how long have you been really putting effort in? Really, truly quality effort? Because sometimes they haven't even been doing it long enough to really get a trend or see any tangible results. And the only reason is they haven't put in the time yet to really see the results. So sometimes in those moments, you jump in and start helping them, and you're robbing them the experience, again, to see the results, to come to fruition, and to really figure out what's possible if they really put in the time, effort, and energy. Something my dad taught me a long time ago, which was interesting. Many times he said, someone who comes to you with a challenge or someone comes to you with a problem, if you give them enough time or space, many times they'll figure it out on their own. People are smart, people are intelligent, people are strong, people are hardworking. So if you give them some of that space, they might take the time to figure it out themselves. And all of a sudden you'll come back a week later and say, hey, how can I help? And you really want to help, and they'll go, oh, I got it. I figured it out. No big deal. And it's like, wow, glad I could help. Now, beyond that, we talked about the fact that you could be robbing them of the experience. Now, on the flip side, there's some people, if we go all the way back to the beginning, the people who watch people struggle and just kind of just sit back and watch, and they won't even help out. Sometimes these are the people who want the most from you but are unwilling to put anything in the game themselves to help you out. So one thing that's always interesting, go take people that are asking for your help and do something. Go get in a challenging situation with them. Go try an obstacle course. Go try working out. Go do something where you need to depend physically or emotionally or intellectually on each other and see what happens. If they're willing to accept the help from you, are they willing to step up and deliver back? One of the most beautiful, beautiful things I've seen is my dad years ago started this thing called the Basket Brigade because someone showed up at his house when he was a kid. They weren't going to starve for Thanksgiving, but they weren't going to have a lot of food. And this person gave these bags of groceries to them. And Dad was always taught as a kid, people don't care about us, people don't care. And this random stranger showed up at Thanksgiving and gave him these bags of food. And all of a sudden he sat there and went, wow, a random stranger cared about our family. He promised, I'm going to do for this someday for another family. So I don't know, 17, 18 years old, he was, trying to get a job, trying to work some side opportunities. And I met a friend who knew him back at that stage of life, and what was really interesting was your parents always tell you how cool they are in their eyes. But if you ask someone who knew them back then, you get a real response. And so I asked this lady who knew him back when he was 16, 17, 18 years old, I said, what was he like? And she said, he was a pretty extraordinary guy. And I said, well, what made him extraordinary? And she said, I remember at this time, it was around the holidays. He'd gotten in a fight with his mom. He was living in the back of his car. I knew that because he was taking a shower at my house every morning to get ready for work. And when he was doing this, I remember it came Thanksgiving, and we knew he wasn't going to go home, so we decided to have a friend's Thanksgiving where we invite the friends over. And we invited everyone over, and he didn't show up. And she's like, it was really weird because time came around, he wasn't there. Got a little later, wasn't there. Got a little later, wasn't there. And finally, like 10, 11 at night, he finally showed up, and we said, where the heck were you? And he wouldn't say. He's like, oh, nothing. Nothing, I was just doing a thing, nothing. And all of a sudden, they egged him on and finally got it out of him. He says, well, I do this thing on Thanksgiving where I save up some money and I go help, feed people in need. And she goes, what do you mean? And she goes, like a family, like kids and wife, husband, like people who don't have enough money on their own, but I save up some money and I go take it and I help them during Thanksgiving just because I think a family helped me, and I think it's great to help others at a time when it's good to help. And all his friends looked at him and they're like, you need help, right? Like, you're living in your car right now. Like, you need financial help. And he goes, no. I'm a guy. I'm a young guy. I don't need that much help. Like a family though, with kids and, mom, kids, that kind of stuff. Like, they need some support on Thanksgiving. And they all just kind of shook their head. And, this friend of Dad's told me, she's like, he was a kid living in the back of his car in his teens, doing door-to-door sales as his current job, saving money to go feed a random family on Thanksgiving that was struggling a little so that they could have a great Thanksgiving together. And I remember thinking, like, wow, what a cool guy. Like, what a cool focus at that stage of life where he wasn't doing that well himself. He was struggling. But he looked outside of himself, and not every day. Obviously, he likes to help people, but in that one moment, he found a time when someone needs the most assistance, and he stepped up and delivered, even when he didn't have a whole lot. Now, what's beautiful about this is over the years, this has grown. When he started a company, it grew into his employees and friends helping out. Now, I think last year it fed about 4 million people worldwide. It's remarkable. If you want to join in something like this, they do it right around this part of the season. If you Google AnthonyRobbinsFoundation.com or AnthonyRobbinsFoundation.org, I think it is, or Google Anthony Robbins Basket Brigade, and it'll pop up, and you can type in your zip code, and it'll tell you the ones that are going on around your home. We're gonna go doing one in Tampa, I think next weekend. We're gonna team up with a group that's there and bring a bunch of friends and find some families in need, and we're gonna put together tons of baskets and deliver them just as a messenger. It's not to show them that it's from you. It's to show them that, hey, someone in the community cares about you and we want to support you. So we're going to be doing one in Tampa this upcoming weekend. And I'd invite you to join in wherever you are in the world, that if you see someone struggling or a family in need, join in with one of these basket brigades. They happen all around the world. You can find them on AnthonyRobbinsFoundation.org. Join in, find the group near you, figure out how to get involved, and go help a family in need in a moment where they really need it around the holiday season. And it's simple. They put together these baskets with all the Thanksgiving fixings, whether it's stuffing and pie and turkey and all the stuff, the cranberries, all the stuff that goes around traditional Thanksgiving. They pile these baskets full, wrap them up, make them look like a giant gift basket. And then they from churches, community centers, local resource centers, facilities that help people who are struggling in the community, sometimes shelters or food, what are they called, soup kitchens. Sometimes they know families that are in need during this time, and they'll give you their name and information or address, and the instructions are deliver it as if you were just the delivery person. So you'll knock on their door, and many times they'll be shocked because they won't even know who it's from. And you just say, hey, someone in your community cares about you, and I got this address with this name, and is that you? Yeah. Okay. Well, here you go. I hope this assists, and someone cares. So have a Thanksgiving and walk away. And it's beautiful. Now, the most beautiful part is when it comes full circle. It obviously started coming full circle because someone did this for my dad. It circled back around, and now he's inspired millions to help out and help others. But what's beautiful, I remember years ago in San Diego, I did this all throughout growing up. And there was one year where a lady had showed up, and she volunteered, and she said, hey, what do you guys need help with? Or do you need help? And we said, yes. What do you need help with specifically? And we said, we'd love we're growing so fast here in San Diego, we'd love some help financially to buy some more tables and equipment to set all this stuff up so we can do more baskets. And this lady showed up, and she donated $5,000 worth of equipment to be able to make all these baskets more smoothly and quickly at a hotel location. And what was interesting is she never said a word, never said anything. And at the end of delivering, I think, hundreds of baskets that year, she said, I'm so excited to be able to assist this year because just 3 years ago, someone from this organization knocked on my door when I was struggling and gave me one of these baskets. And it's such a privilege and opportunity to be able to pay forward to other families at this moment who might be in the position I was a few years ago. And it was heartwarming, and it was a beautiful experience to watch someone who had been struggling themselves be inspired by the fact that someone else cares, and within 3-year period of time progress, do so well in life that they were coming back and significantly donating right back into the cause to go help even more people in the same community. It was beautiful. So speaking about what do you do when you see someone struggling, this is my invitation to you. If you would, visit AnthonyRobbinsFoundation.org or Google Anthony Robbins Basket Brigade. Find one that's coming up near your home somewhere in the world and join it. Go physically there and help deliver some baskets to some people in the community who are in need and who might need some assistance this holiday season. And it'll warm your heart, it'll touch their lives, and hopefully it makes a beautiful ripple out into the world. And you might not ever know where it goes, but it'll hopefully help a lot of people. Anyways, hope you enjoy this. Pass this video on. If you know people who have big hearts and want to get involved somewhere in the world, send them to that website. Share this video with them. Hopefully it inspires them and helps them think about what they do when they see people struggling. And hopefully we can help a bunch of people this holiday season. So I hope you have an amazing night, and I'll see you tomorrow.